the new god of revenue, the new gods of revenue, the new god of revenue, the new goddess of revenue, the new goddesses of revenue, the new goddess of revenue, the old god of revenue, the old gods of revenue, the old god of revenue, the old goddess of revenue, the old goddesses of revenue, the old goddess of revenue, the greater god of revenue, the greater gods of revenue, the greater god of revenue, the greater goddess of revenue, the greater goddesses of revenue, the greater goddess of revenue, the lesser god of revenue, the lesser gods of revenue, the lesser god of revenue, the lesser goddess of revenue, the lesser goddesses of revenue, the lesser goddess of revenue, the higher god of revenue, the higher gods of revenue, the higher god of revenue, the higher goddess of revenue, the higher goddesses of revenue, the higher goddess of revenue, the lower god of revenue, the lower gods of revenue, the lower god of revenue, the lower goddess of revenue, the lower goddesses of revenue, the lower goddess of revenue, the greater spirit of revenue, the greater spirits of revenue, the greater spirit of revenue, the lesser spirit of revenue, the lesser spirits of revenue, the lesser spirit of revenue, the higher spirit of revenue, the higher spirits of revenue, the higher spirit of revenue, the lower spirit of revenue, the lower spirits of revenue, the lower spirit of revenue, the major god of revenue, the major gods of revenue, the major god of revenue, the major goddess of revenue, the major goddesses of revenue, the major goddess of revenue, the minor god of revenue, the minor gods of revenue, the minor god of revenue, the minor goddess of revenue, the minor goddesses of revenue, the minor goddess of revenue, the superior god of revenue, the superior gods of revenue, the superior god of revenue, the superior goddess of revenue, the superior goddesses of revenue, the superior goddess of revenue, the inferior god of revenue, the inferior gods of revenue, the inferior god of revenue, the inferior goddess of revenue, the inferior goddesses of revenue, the inferior goddess of revenue, the ancestor god of revenue, the ancestor gods of revenue, the ancestor god of revenue, the ancestor goddess of revenue, the ancestor goddesses of revenue, the ancestor goddess of revenue, the ascendant god of revenue, the ascendant gods of revenue, the ascendant god of revenue, the ascendant goddess of revenue, the ascendant goddesses of revenue, the ascendant goddess of revenue, the descendant god of revenue, the descendant gods of revenue, the descendant god of revenue, the descendant goddess of revenue, the descendant goddesses of revenue, the descendant goddess of revenue, the transcendent god of revenue, the transcendent gods of revenue, the transcendent god of revenue, the transcendent goddess of revenue, the transcendent goddesses of revenue, the transcendent goddess of revenue, the past god of revenue, the past gods of revenue, the past god of revenue, the past goddess of revenue, the past goddesses of revenue, the past goddess of revenue, the present god of revenue, the present gods of revenue, the present god of revenue, the present goddess of revenue, the present goddesses of revenue, the present goddess of revenue, the future god of revenue, the future gods of revenue, the future god of revenue, the future goddess of revenue, the future goddesses of revenue, the future goddess of revenue, the authentic god of revenue, the authentic gods of revenue, the authentic god of revenue, the authentic goddess of revenue, the authentic goddesses of revenue, the authentic goddess of revenue, the synthetic god of revenue, the synthetic gods of revenue, the synthetic god of revenue, the synthetic goddess of revenue, the synthetic goddesses of revenue, the synthetic goddess of revenue, the progressive god of revenue, the progressive gods of revenue, the progressive god of revenue, the progressive goddess of revenue, the progressive goddesses of revenue, the progressive goddess of revenue, the regressive god of revenue, the regressive gods of revenue, the regressive god of revenue, the regressive goddess of revenue, the regressive goddesses of revenue, the regressive goddess of revenue, the ordinary god of revenue, the ordinary gods of revenue, the ordinary god of revenue, the ordinary goddess of revenue, the ordinary goddesses of revenue, the ordinary goddess of revenue, the extraordinary God of revenue, the extraordinary gods of revenue, the extraordinary God of revenue, the extraordinary goddess of revenue, the extraordinary goddesses of revenue, the extraordinary goddess of revenue, the static god of revenue, the static gods of revenue, the static god of revenue, the static goddess of revenue, the static goddesses of revenue, the static goddess of revenue, the dynamic god of revenue, the dynamic gods of revenue, the dynamic god of revenue, the dynamic goddess of revenue, the dynamic goddesses of revenue, the dynamic goddess of revenue, the land god of revenue, the land gods of revenue, the land god of revenue, the land goddess of revenue, the land goddesses of revenue, the land goddess of revenue, the sea god of revenue, the sea gods of revenue, the sea god of revenue, the sea goddess of revenue, the sea goddesses of revenue, the sea goddess of revenue, the sky god of revenue, the sky gods of revenue, the sky god of revenue, the sky goddess of revenue, the sky goddesses of revenue, the sky goddess of revenue, the god of revenue, the gods of revenue, the god of revenue, the goddess of revenue, the goddesses of revenue, the goddess of revenue, the half god of revenue, the half gods of revenue, the half god of revenue, the half goddess of revenue, the half goddesses of revenue, the half goddess of revenue, the vessel of revenue, the vessels of revenue, the vessel of revenue, the name of revenue, the names of revenue, the name of revenue, the person of revenue, the persons of revenue, the person of revenue, the persona of revenue, the personas of revenue, the persona of revenue, the personage of revenue, the personages of revenue, the personage of revenue, the personality of revenue, the personalities of revenue, the personality of revenue, the personification of revenue, the personifications of revenue, the personification of revenue, the image of revenue, the images of revenue, the image of revenue, the imagination of revenue, the imaginations of revenue, the imagination of revenue, the belief of revenue, the beliefs of revenue, the belief of revenue, the thought of revenue, the thoughts of revenue, the thought of revenue, the word of revenue, the words of revenue, the word of revenue, the action of revenue, the actions of revenue, the action of revenue, the reaction of revenue, the reactions of revenue, the reaction of revenue, the feeling of revenue, the feelings of revenue, the feeling of revenue, the situation of revenue, the situations of revenue, the situation of revenue, the circumstance of revenue, the circumstances of revenue, the circumstance of revenue, the environment of revenue, the environments of revenue, the environment of revenue, the relationship of revenue, the relationships of revenue, the relationship of revenue, the number of revenue, the numbers of revenue, the number of revenue, the formula of revenue, the formulas of revenue, the formula of revenue, the equation of revenue, the equations of revenue, the equation of revenue, the theory of revenue, the theories of revenue, the theory of revenue, the symbol of revenue, the symbols of revenue, the symbol of revenue, the color of revenue, the colors of revenue, the color of revenue, the thing of revenue, the things of revenue, the thing of revenue, the way of revenue, the ways of revenue, the way of revenue, the place of revenue, the places of revenue, the place of revenue, the time of revenue, the times of revenue, the time of revenue, the event of revenue, the events of revenue, the event of revenue, the result of revenue, the results of revenue, the result of revenue, the crown of revenue, the crowns of revenue, the crown of revenue, the throne of revenue, the thrones of revenue, the throne of revenue, the revenue king, the revenue kings, the revenue kingdom, the revenue kingdoms, the revenue king subject, the revenue king subjects, the revenue king's dominion, the revenue king's dominions, the kingdom of revenue, the kingdoms of revenue, the kingdom of revenue, the revenue queen, the revenue queens, the revenue queendom, the revenue queendoms, the revenue queen subject, the revenue queen subjects, the revenue queen's dominion, the revenue queen's dominions, the queendom of revenue, the queendoms of revenue, the queendom of revenue, the revenue prince, the revenue princes, the revenue princedom, the revenue princedoms, the revenue prince's subject, the revenue prince's subjects, the revenue prince's dominion, the revenue prince's dominions, the princedom of revenue, the princedoms of revenue, the princedom of revenue, the revenue princess, the revenue princesses, the revenue princessdom, the revenue princessdoms, the revenue princess's subject, the revenue princess's subjects, the revenue princess's dominion, the revenue princess's dominions, the princessdom of revenue, the princessdoms of revenue, the princessdom of revenue, the lord of revenue, the lords of revenue, the lord of revenue, the lordess of revenue, the lordesses of revenue, the lordess of revenue, the priest of revenue, the priests of revenue, the priest of revenue, the priestess of revenue, the priestesses of revenue, the priestess of revenue, the ritual of revenue, the rituals of revenue, the ritual of revenue, the shrine of revenue, the shrines of revenue, the shrine of revenue, the temple of revenue, the temples of revenue, the temple of revenue, the leader of revenue, the leaders of revenue, the leader of revenue, the follower of revenue, the followers of revenue, the follower of revenue, the natural substance of revenue, the natural substances of revenue, the natural substance of revenue, the supernatural substance of revenue, the supernatural substances of revenue, the supernatural substance of revenue, the temporal substance of revenue, the temporal substances of revenue, the temporal substance of revenue, the spiritual substance of revenue, the spiritual substances of revenue, the spiritual substance of revenue, the natural form of revenue, the natural forms of revenue, the natural form of revenue, the supernatural form of revenue, the supernatural forms of revenue, the supernatural form of revenue, the temporal form of revenue, the temporal forms of revenue, the temporal form of revenue, the spiritual form of revenue, the spiritual forms of revenue, the spiritual form of revenue, the age of revenue, the ages of revenue, the age of revenue, the era of revenue, the heiress of revenue, the era of revenue, the awakener of revenue, the awakeners of revenue, the awakener of revenue, the awakening of revenue, the awakenings of revenue, the awakening of revenue, the realm of revenue, the realms of revenue, the realm of revenue, the dimension of revenue, the dimensions of revenue, the dimension of revenue, the zone of revenue, the zones of revenue, the zone of revenue, the frequency of revenue, the frequencies of revenue, the frequency of revenue, the century of revenue, the centuries of revenue, the century of revenue, the millennium of revenue, the millenniums of revenue, the millennium of revenue, the purpose of revenue, the purposes of revenue, the purpose of revenue, the meaning of revenue, the meanings of revenue, the meaning of revenue, the culture of revenue, the cultures of revenue, the culture of revenue, the demonstrator of revenue, the demonstrators of revenue, the demonstrator of revenue, the demonstration of revenue, the demonstrations of revenue, the demonstration of revenue, the manifester of revenue, the manifestors of revenue, the manifester of revenue, the manifestation of revenue, the manifestations of revenue, the manifestation of revenue, the presence of revenue, the presences of revenue, the presence of revenue, the glow of revenue, the glows of revenue, the glow of revenue, the goal of revenue, the goals of revenue, the goal of revenue, the plan of revenue, the plans of revenue, the plan of revenue, the book of revenue, the books of revenue, the book of revenue, the philosopher of revenue, the philosophers of revenue, the philosopher of revenue, the philosophy of revenue, the philosophies of revenue, the philosophy of revenue, the releaser of revenue, the releasers of revenue, the releaser of revenue, the release of revenue, the releases of revenue, the release of revenue, the variable of revenue, the variables of revenue, the variable of revenue, the cause of revenue, the causes of revenue, the cause of revenue, the effect of revenue, the effects of revenue, the effect of revenue, the journey of revenue, the journeys of revenue, the journey of revenue, the emergence of revenue, the emergences of revenue, the emergence of revenue, the source of revenue, the sources of revenue, the source of revenue, the originator of revenue, the originators of revenue, the originator of revenue, the origin of revenue, the origins of revenue, the origin of revenue, the forefather of revenue, the forefathers of revenue, the forefather of revenue, the foremother of revenue, the foremothers of revenue, the foremother of revenue, the ancestor of revenue, the ancestors of revenue, the ancestor of revenue, the descendant of revenue, the descendants of revenue, the descendant of revenue, the lineage of revenue, the lineages of revenue, the lineage of revenue, the heritage of revenue, the heritages of revenue, the heritage of revenue, the heir of revenue, the heirs of revenue, the heir of revenue, the co-heir of revenue, the co-heirs of revenue, the co-heir of revenue, the joint heir of revenue, the joint heirs of revenue, the joint heir of revenue, the dynasty of revenue, the dynasties of revenue, the dynasty of revenue, the force of revenue, the forces of revenue, the force of revenue, the law of revenue, the laws of revenue, the law of revenue, the pact of revenue, the pacts of revenue, the pact of revenue, the game of revenue, the games of revenue, the game of revenue, the mask of revenue, the masks of revenue, the mask of revenue, the armor of revenue, the armors of revenue, the armor of revenue, the sword of revenue, the swords of revenue, the sword of revenue, the shield of revenue, the shields of revenue, the shield of revenue, the force shield of revenue, the force shields of revenue, the force shield of revenue, the armored force shield of revenue, the armored force shields of revenue, the armored force shield of revenue, the champion of revenue, the champions of revenue, the champion of revenue, the guardian of revenue, the guardians of revenue, the guardian of revenue, the defender of revenue, the defenders of revenue, the defender of revenue, the protector of revenue, the protectors of revenue, the protector of revenue, the chant of revenue, the chants of revenue, the chant of revenue, the shape of revenue, the shapes of revenue, the shape of revenue, the cube of revenue, the cubes of revenue, the cube of revenue, the cuboid of revenue, the cuboids of revenue, the cuboid of revenue, the sphere of revenue, the spheres of revenue, the sphere of revenue, the spheroid of revenue, the spheroids of revenue, the spheroid of revenue, the prism of revenue, the prisms of revenue, the prism of revenue, the pyramid of revenue, the pyramids of revenue, the pyramid of revenue, the cylinder of revenue, the cylinders of revenue, the cylinder of revenue, the cone of revenue, the cones of revenue, the cone of revenue, the triangle of revenue, the triangles of revenue, the triangle of revenue, the circle of revenue, the circles of revenue, the circle of revenue, the semicircle of revenue, the semicircles of revenue, the semicircle of revenue, the square of revenue, the squares of revenue, the square of revenue, the rectangle of revenue, the rectangles of revenue, the rectangle of revenue, the parallelogram of revenue, the parallelograms of revenue, the parallelogram of revenue, the rhombus of revenue, the rhombuses of revenue, the rhombus of revenue, the trapezoid of revenue, the trapezoids of revenue, the trapezoid of revenue, the polygon of revenue, the polygons of revenue, the polygon of revenue, the pentagon of revenue, the pentagons of revenue, the pentagon of revenue, the hexagon of revenue, the hexagons of revenue, the hexagon of revenue, the septagon of revenue, the septagons of revenue, the septagon of revenue, the octagon of revenue, the octagons of revenue, the octagon of revenue, the nonagon of revenue, the nonagons of revenue, the nonagon of revenue, the decagon of revenue, the decagons of revenue, the decagon of revenue, the evolution of revenue, the evolutions of revenue, the evolution of revenue, the revolution of revenue, the revolutions of revenue, the revolution of revenue, the elemental art of revenue, the elemental arts of revenue, the elemental art of revenue, the elemental science of revenue, the elemental sciences of revenue, the elemental science of revenue, the elemental principle of revenue, the elemental principles of revenue, the elemental principle of revenue, the elemental technology of revenue, the elemental technologies of revenue, the elemental technology of revenue, the low elemental art of revenue, the low elemental arts of revenue, the low elemental art of revenue, the low elemental science of revenue, the low elemental sciences of revenue, the low elemental science of revenue, the low elemental principle of revenue, the low elemental principles of revenue, the low elemental principle of revenue, the low elemental technology of revenue, the low elemental technologies of revenue, the low elemental technology of revenue, the high elemental art of revenue, the high elemental arts of revenue, the high elemental art of revenue, the high elemental science of revenue, the high elemental sciences of revenue, the high elemental science of revenue, the high elemental principle of revenue, the high elemental principles of revenue, the high elemental principle of revenue, the high elemental technology of revenue, the high elemental technologies of revenue, the high elemental technology of revenue, the agent of revenue, the agents of revenue, the agent of revenue, the agency of revenue, the agencies of revenue, the agency of revenue, the amplifier of revenue, the amplifiers of revenue, the amplifier of revenue, the amplification of revenue, the amplifications of revenue, the amplification of revenue, the enhancer of revenue, the enhancers of revenue, the enhancer of revenue, the enhancement of revenue, the enhancements of revenue, the enhancement of revenue, the magnifier of revenue, the magnifiers of revenue, the magnifier of revenue, the magnification of revenue, the magnifications of revenue, the magnification of revenue, the influencer of revenue, the influencers of revenue, the influencer of revenue, the influence of revenue, the influences of revenue, the influence of revenue, the emanator of revenue, the emanators of revenue, the emanator of revenue, the emanation of revenue, the emanations of revenue, the emanation of revenue, the converger of revenue, the convergers of revenue, the converger of revenue, the convergence of revenue, the convergences of revenue, the convergence of revenue, the aura of revenue, the auras of revenue, the aura of revenue, the impression of revenue, the impressions of revenue, the impression of revenue, the intelligence of revenue, the intelligences of revenue, the intelligence of revenue, the sophistication of revenue, the sophistications of revenue, the sophistication of revenue, the genius of revenue, the geniuses of revenue, the genius of revenue, the polymath of revenue, the polymaths of revenue, the polymath of revenue, the psychic of revenue, the psychics of revenue, the psychic of revenue, the knowledge of revenue, the knowledges of revenue, the knowledge of revenue, the understanding of revenue, the understandings of revenue, the understanding of revenue, the wisdom of revenue, the wisdoms of revenue, the wisdom of revenue, the secret of revenue, the secrets of revenue, the secret of revenue, the mystery of revenue, the mysteries of revenue, the mystery of revenue, the revelation of revenue, the revelations of revenue, the revelation of revenue, the tactic of revenue, the tactics of revenue, the tactic of revenue, the strategy of revenue, the strategies of revenue, the strategy of revenue, the strength of revenue, the strengths of revenue, the strength of revenue, the might of revenue, the mights of revenue, the might of revenue, the power of revenue, the powers of revenue, the power of revenue, the authority of revenue, the authorities of revenue, the authority of revenue, the dominion of revenue, the dominions of revenue, the dominion of revenue, the rhythm of revenue, the rhythms of revenue, the rhythm of revenue, the melody of revenue, the melodies of revenue, the melody of revenue, the music of revenue, the musics of revenue, the music of revenue, the lyric of revenue, the lyrics of revenue, the lyric of revenue, the song of revenue, the songs of revenue, the song of revenue, the dance of revenue, the dances of revenue, the dance of revenue, the spirit of revenue, the spirits of revenue, the spirit of revenue, the soul of revenue, the souls of revenue, the soul of revenue, the body of revenue, the bodies of revenue, the body of revenue, the mark of revenue, the marks of revenue, the mark of revenue, the promise of revenue, the promises of revenue, the promise of revenue, the visionary of revenue, the visionaries of revenue, the visionary of revenue, the vision of revenue, the visions of revenue, the vision of revenue, the picture of revenue, the pictures of revenue, the picture of revenue, the sound of revenue, the sounds of revenue, the sound of revenue, the dung of revenue, the dungs of revenue, the dung of revenue, the language of revenue, the languages of revenue, the language of revenue, the communication of revenue, the communications of revenue, the communication of revenue, the people of revenue, the peoples of revenue, the people of revenue, the society of revenue, the societies of revenue, the society of revenue, the fortress of revenue, the fortresses of revenue, the fortress of revenue, the government of revenue, the governments of revenue, the government of revenue, the city of revenue, the cities of revenue, the city of revenue, the nation of revenue, the nations of revenue, the nation of revenue, the civilization of revenue, the civilizations of revenue, the civilization of revenue, the world of revenue, the worlds of revenue, the world of revenue,